Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at when it's week to 10 days in today's video. This takes us to the start of September. We go to the 1st of September, which is day 10. We've got some quite hot weather coming up over the next few days. So going towards the end of the week, temperatures are going to get back to around 30 degrees down in the south, so into the mid-80s Fahrenheit. I think we will find a thundery breakdown coming through on Thursday, which will lower the temperatures. I mean, quite a lot of uncertainty into the weekend. Of course, it's bank holiday weekend, so you always get a lot of uncertainty, it seems, around bank holiday weekends. There is quite a bit of uncertainty for that. Looks like it's going to be quite a changeable weekend on the latest guidance, but I'll show you the charts in a second. And then as we go through to the start of September, we may be seeing signs of the increasingly unsettled conditions beginning to get going as we move towards the start of September, which is quite unusual because September is normally, or the start of September, is normally a time of high pressure, sort of dry, warm conditions. But this year might be a bit different, so I'll show you the charts in a second. Before I get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on the page. If you can have a browse widgets and click through the links, if there's any articles that you're interested in, you'll be helping us to pay for our website, and thanks very much for doing that. There's video ads on most pages which own our content, and when you watch them, they close back up again. Does all help to pay for gavsweathervids.com. Just say a little bit later on, we'll have a detailed look at Bank Holiday Weekend. This will cover the Bank Holiday Weekend in today's video, but not in detail. Later on, we'll have an update for Bank Holiday Weekend. I think it's also the Leeds Reading Festival, so I'll have a look at the detail for that later on today. So these are the 500 millibar height anomalies. We've got the E70F here on the top. GFS is on the bottom. We'll have a look at that in a moment. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet. It's an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, and yellow, red, orange, brighter colours extrapolates to high pressure. These are mean flow charts up to 10 days away, which takes us to the 1st of September. So with the E70F, we see we've got a trough of low pressure around Green, going down into the Atlantic. We've got this ridge, got to change the colour, we've got this ridge here across central parts of Europe, but the influence of that is increasingly being pushed eastwards, I think, as the jet stream is starting to power up, and it is a desperately unsettled scenario, but it's certainly turning more unsettled there with time as we go through towards the end of the month and head towards the start of September. The GFS is very similar, maybe a little bit more unsettled if anything. We have got some ridging down around Portugal, but essentially the jet stream still coming through the country like that, and that's quite unsettled conditions coming in off the Atlantic as well. Notice this area of blue just here, that could well be a hurricane that's going to get going, and that could push northwards in towards the northern Atlantic through the first week of September. I think it's be as yet not formed, but if it does form, it will be Hurricane Gaston, and we may have to watch out for that as we go through the first week of September, because it looks like it's going to, well, the models look like they want to lift that into the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean, possibly get it caught up in the jet stream, which would probably by about the end of the first week of September have an impact on our weather. This is always an uncertain time of year because of these tropical features that develop through the tropical Atlantic, how they form, where they go, how they impact in terms of jet stream, always is uncertain, so model reliability at this time of year is at its lowest throughout any point in the year very often. So the GFS temperature precipitation ensembles show things up quite nicely over the next couple of weeks. Let's deal with temperatures. First of all, the red line here is the 30-year temperature average. Notice we're going very warm, if not hot, through the first few days of the ensemble of this area just here. Dates on the bottom of the chart, so it's through the rest of this week, turns really hot. But as we get through into the weekend, we find those temperatures dipping down, and they go back towards the 30-year average. And in fact, by the end of the ensemble, which takes us through the first week of September, we're possibly going a little bit cooler than average then. So clearly, there's a big drop in temperature taking place from what we have around the middle and latter stages of this week into the start of the weekend, and then through the weekend and on into next week, where it's obviously turning significantly cooler. A lot of dry weather coming up through the next few days as well. As we get through into the weekend, looks as though we're going to find more unsettled conditions coming through, and then that takes into the first week of September, which on this ensemble anyway is looking really quite unsettled. This area just here, it's a small area of spikes there. That's associated with a chance of a thundery breakdown to the hot weather around Thursday. Now, this is the ensemble for London, and it's not doing very much actually down in the southeast, but further north there may be some big thunderstorms around Thursday, really from the Midlands northwards. Have to keep an eye on that. The temperature anomaly for the coming week is going from the 22nd through to 30th of August, generally coming out warmer than average, although it is turning a little bit cooler for Scotland. I think over the next few days, the trend with these charts will probably be to cool things down somewhat. Precipitation anomaly from the 22nd of August through to the 30th, generally drier than average for England and Wales, and a little bit wetter than average further north, particularly for Ireland and Northern England. It turns drier again for Scots, so a bit of a three-way split coming up. Overall, I suspect there will be quite a lot of dry weather around, certainly up until the weekend. So this is how the GFS is seeing things for Thursday, where we've got hot air moving up out of the south and possibly some sort of a thundery feature coming out of Bay of Biscay and France as well. As we move through into Friday, that is pushing eastwards, getting out of the way, and then we're starting to bring the air back in off the Atlantic. So whether it ever produces much of a way of thunder in the southeast, I'm not sure, but there's going to be some sort of feature moving across the country Thursday into Friday, and then it introduces a cooler, fresher feel from off the Atlantic. We go through into the end of the week and into the start of the weekend. So this is for Saturday, and we've got low pressure forming down to the southwest then for the start of the bank holiday weekend. But it still looks pretty warm for the southeast actually. It is cooler up in the northwest, and then this low pressure moves northwards and eastwards into sunny. Now that could bring quite a lot of heavy rain with it Saturday into Sunday. Of course, this is the bank holiday weekend, so there could be a lot of people away. Got to firm up on that. Does look quite wet with that area of low pressure moving up from the southwest. By bank holiday Monday, that low pressure is moving away to the east of the country, turning the winds into the north. So that's much cooler and probably quite showery for bank holiday Monday. A little bit of a ridge builds for Tuesday, but that doesn't last very long. Everything starts to flatten off again for Wednesday, the 31st of August. It looks like we're going back into a flat westerly flow. Notice this dramatic looking area of low pressure on the far left hand side of the screen as you're looking at it, or on the far left hand side of the chart as you're looking at it. That is probably the remains of the as yet not formed Hurricane Gaston, and that does look very significant. It is coming into the North Atlantic. We have to watch out and see where that area of low pressure is going. We go through to day 10, which is Thursday, the 1st of September. Looks changeable for the first day of September. Low pressure is dominating across the country, so big showers or longer spells of rain. It's quite cool as well, with the air going back towards Greenland. And again, we need to keep an eye on what's happening with this area of low pressure just here. ECMWF for the end of the week. Again, we've got this feature moving across the country, introducing cooler, fresher air, particularly to the north and west on Friday. Whether it produces much in the way of thunder, difficult to say. Then a rather bizarre looking chart for Saturday. That's some sort of a transient ridge, I think, building over the country. Still pretty warm down in the southeast at that point. Sunday shows low pressures forming down to the southwest of the country, but it's all looking very slack and rather strange looking charts really from the ECMWF up to day 10, which is Monday the 29th of August. Again, some sort of ridge is trying to build there, but it all looks very slack. I think at very least there'll probably be showers across the country. We go up towards day 10 and it all starts to turn flatter. So day 10, which is Thursday the 1st of September, shows we're into this westerly flow then cooler air coming in off the Atlantic, probably showery conditions as well. There's that area of low pressure that is possibly the remains of an ex-hurricane. That doesn't look as intense as the GFS has it, but it is still coming up into the Northern Atlantic, so again, have to watch where that's going. Finally, the GEM. Friday we take this cooler trough across the country, introducing fresher air into the northwest, although the south and east still hangs on to pretty warm conditions into the weekend. Then this area of low pressure is forming from Saturday into Sunday, probably bringing quite heavy rain to parts of the country. ECMWF doesn't show this, but I think the ECM is a little bit odd with its charts this morning. I think it may have gone off on a bit of a tangent, so the GFS and the GEM solution is probably the way that this is going to go, which is increasingly unsettled over the bank holiday weekend. Bank holiday Monday looks cool and showery, quite windy as well. And then we go through into the closing days of August. This is Wednesday the 31st of August, with a new area of low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. And we finish up on day 10. Again, in a westerly flow, quite cool, with showers, particularly so in the north and west for the first day of September. Again, there's that area of low pressure that is possibly the remains of a hurricane coming up into the northern Atlantic. The days beyond that, through the first week of September, we would have to watch where that area of low pressure is going. So it's all a bit of a mixed bag this morning. Up to the weekend, it looks quite hot. There may be some thunder around on Thursday, otherwise not a great deal of rain up to the weekend. Over the weekend, we've got to watch out for low pressure, possibly developing from west-southwest, turning things cooler and maybe quite wet for a time on Sunday. As I say, we will look in detail at Bank Holiday weekend later on today. Let's go through to next week and into the very end of August, start of September. It looks like we're going into an increasingly changeable, cool westerly pattern. And then the first week of September, all eyes will be on that ex-hurricane. So that's how it's looking for this morning's update. Come back later on for a detailed look at Bank Holiday weekend. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.